All right, hello and welcome to Enterprise Actual MEA and CIOTV webinar on data and success of AI. Thank you very much for joining in. As a media house, we have been doing this kind of events, webinars, and in-person events on different subjects. Today, we have a very interesting topic, that's AI and data, how data is important for the success of AI. As you know, data is the lifeblood of AI, fueling its learning, accuracy, adaptability across real-world scenario. The quality, the diversity, and volume of data directly determines how intelligent and impactful AI system become. In order to discuss, deliberate on this important subject, we have a panel of speakers with diverse industry experience, and it will be moderated by MIT alumni and senior enterprise solution architect Sandeep Mahindra. Let me introduce, ladies and gentlemen, to the entire panel of the speakers. Sandeep Mahindra is our moderator. Sandeep, welcome to this discussion.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Sandeep, thank you very much. We have Jacob Mathew, he is senior CIO from a government entity in UAE. Jacob, thank you very much for taking time out to be here to discuss very important and trending topic, that's AI and data.
All right. Thank you very much for the invite. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob. We have Ali from DEPA World. He is CIO. He's yet to join. Most probably he'll join in next 5 to 10 minutes. Mr. Kumar Prasoon, Kumar, welcome to you to this discussion. He's CIO for Twyn. Twyn is a company which is into digital twin. Kumar, welcome to you to this discussion.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
We have Shailesh Group IT Head, DBMS Steel Group. Shailesh, thank you very much for taking time out to be here to deliberate on this important topic.
Thank you.
Next up is Asim Syed. Asim is Group CIO, Jabr Holding Group, Saudi. Asim, thank you very much. Welcome.
Thank you. It's a great pleasure for joining on.
Thank you, Asim. Last but not least is Levent. He is Chief Strategy for Climate Sustainability and AI, Global Head for Sustainability Partnership at Informatica. Levent joins from London, if I'm not wrong. Levent,
that's
welcome.
correct. Hi, thank you. Pleasure to be here.
All right, once again, it's a pleasure once again to welcome Ali Katkhada, who is CIO and DEPA, joined now. Ali, thank you very much for your time.
Sure, my honor. Hello, everybody.
Hello. Hi, Ali.
Hello.
So thank you very much. Let's have a fun-filled but very interesting and impactful discussion. You have a diverse and a big panel. The expectation is very high from the audience. So let's start it. Before I hand over the baton to Sandeep, it's a small housekeeping rule that the camera will be off for all the speakers. They can still ask questions using the Q&A window. Obviously, we will be taking the questions at the end of our discussion. Sandeep is obviously the authority to take it forward, but depending on his way of doing this panel discussion, he can also welcome questions. Sandeep, over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. So as Sanjay already introduced everybody, so I will not take much time on the introduction, but definitely I would like to warm welcome for all the esteemed guests over here. That's majorly from the customer side as well as from the vendor side. So you have full understanding from the ecosystem. And today's topic, Sanjay clearly mentioned, it's about data and the success of the AI, which is definitely dependent on the quality of the data. So rather than discussing on the topic, I would start with some quick questions. So my first question will be addressing to Jacob, Mathew, and Ali, since they are from the customer side. So since you are playing a very important role on the strategic movement for the large AI projects, right? So what are the basics and essential rules you are for managing data, quality of the data, how to make it easy in order to make sure the large AI projects going to the success as per the plan, and what your lesson learned throughout this cycle? Over to you, Jacob and Ali.
Thank you very much, Sandeep and the team. So yes, data is extremely important for successful AI completion. But before I come into and answer the question, I just wanted to stress the define AI. I would define AI as a tool to deliver business value. Not all the technical big things. There is agents and agentic AI, and there are so many things, but LLMs, those are all very good. But end of the day, AI, when we are implementing AI, it must deliver value to our business, and that's also true for technology. So from answering a question, what I believe is the quality of data is extremely important. I think we would have studied way back in our schools and colleges about garbage in, garbage out. So data, I mean, AI depends on data, as we already discussed. And for data for AI to really be effective and to be a stepping stone for corporates, the data is very important. It must be, first of all, it must be governed properly. What I mean by governance is we need to make sure that only the people who have access to the data actually has access, and that we cover that through security controls. One of the things I've come to personally from my network is that I've come to enough cases where people have asked for salaries once, as soon as they get ChatGPT, they ask, or any GPT, what's the salary of the CEO? And unless we have proper access control and governance in place, it will draw out the answer. So governance is very important. Then data quality, the importance of having one source of data, one source of truth. It was very fundamental of that. And also data accessibility. I mean, you have secure data and you have proper data governance, but if nobody can use the data, then it's useless. So these are some basic fundamental blocks that I believe we must have in place before we implement AI.
Jacob, you kept nothing for me. My best friend, Jacob, is really difficult to answer after him. I maybe just highlight from different angle, but it's the same point. First of all, I 100% believe that business doesn't care about technology, especially when the business is not IT. We work in different type of businesses in different industry where IT is a service. So the whole bottom line is the revenue, is the profitability of the business. Regardless, you achieve that efficiency through which tool or which platform, or you are using AI, you are using blockchain, you are using whatever, it doesn't matter from business perspective and from board perspective, as Jacob already said. The other thing, maybe another point which I feel is important, nowadays we have, especially in my industry, in construction, we have a lot of silos platforms. I cannot run away from the CAD technology in construction. So there is, it comes with their own AI, it comes with their own cloud. All of us have an ERP, which is the back office. Again, now most of ERP providers comes with AI now. And the point that to have a holistic view where all these sources of data integrate with each other in a feasible way that makes sense. It's a challenge from data perspective, which also reflect on the AI perspective. Another point I might also emphasize, which is compliance. Compliance of the data and compliance also of the AI. We all operate in different jurisdictions. Our businesses exist across different countries, and we have to be comply with many different data privacy, like the data protection law, data protection regulation, GDPR, different ISO. Now there is a 42,001 ISO for the AI, in particular the EU. AI Act, the Homeland Security AI Playbook, all these different compliance, we have to be careful about it. It's not just enable Copilot or ChatGPT and let everybody use it, but you need to be careful what your user are sharing and what is the boundaries that this data is shared with, like something like data residency, data retention, for how long I have to keep the data, the right to be forgotten, the right to be data portability. Some employee or subcontractor or vendors might come to me and say, oh, give me all the data that you are recording about me. This is all need to be in mind when you are designing a solution. So I believe these all should be very important as a data strategy when we are, designing an AI solution, in addition to what my friend Jacob said. Yeah.
Thank you, Ali. Thank you, Jacob. It's very nice perspective from both of you side. I would like to summarize in a nutshell. So technology do not decide about the business. Business decide the technology, and business decide the use case. Based on the use case, we use the technology. When you use the technology, we need to make sure the compliance are in place. You have to make sure securities are in place. You have to make sure the ethics for the AI are in place. Okay. Then one more point I'm just adding to it. Yes, data quality is there, data accessibility is there, but nowadays, since you are working in the multiple silos, the data streaming is also new, comes into the play, where people need accessibility of data real time to the customer side, not only on the business side. This is a new trend going on. And I agree with you that there are a lot of issues now in the prompt injection, which is Jacob Killy mentioned about. That if somebody's asking for the CEO salary system as we are putting in an AI, if it is not properly governed AI best practices and following the governance model. So last in session, I discussed with Sanjay, I've given fast steps like framework for AI, which is mainly on ethics side, the responsible AI. So that is also the point. Thank you so much for your views. I'm just trying to conclude. Now I think I have to move to the another people also on the panel. So my next question to Kumar, Prasoon, and Shailesh Mani. Okay. So what are the hardest practical problem you had solved to make AI project in your company successful? And exactly the same, almost the same question, but since you are from the steel manufacturing, now again, Prasoon is coming from the digital twin side and the technology side. So your views may be different because you're from the customer side and this is from the vendor side. So floor is yours.
Okay, so the main, it is very difficult to segregate that which is the hardest problem in this AI implementation or an identifying an AI tool while it suits your business, The biggest thing which I faced is that to identify a proper solution and a proper vendor, Nowadays everybody is AI. Everybody claims that we did this, we did like this. When we are asking for a demo or when we are asking for a case study solution, then there is nothing. So it was the biggest issue which I faced while selecting a solution for that. And another biggest challenge which we faced is that the data availability. You are dealing with an unknown vendor. I mean, these old AI are a new vendor, so you are dealing with an unknown vendor, and it is very difficult to share your confidential data because all these AI data is related to your business, core business, not the peripheral data. It is a core business data, and delivering this data to the unknown vendor, again, it was a challenge for me. So then what I did an approach is that to dig out the 3-year-old or 4-year-old data as a sample data and given to them. Then I decided this. Then another problem came to how to extract this 4-year data because it is so that time this electronics form was not that much available. It was on a paper mode or a manual mode. So then extract from there. That was another challenge. Then we need a functional team to explain the exact requirement of what they are looking or what process we are doing it to bring it into an automation. So the convincing to the functional team was also another challenge for doing this. So if we cover everything on this, then another challenge came into the data modeling and its alignment. Because the vendor who is coming on board, they are fresh to the processing and they have a little knowledge while they are spend some time with the functional team to identify it. Then the modeling was another challenge which we face. And another, this is at the functional, core functional level. If you look at the management level, to convincing the management for the ROI, because these projects are not cheap, but these projects are quite
Yes.
high. So then, what is your ROI? How you are not sure about the outcome will be perfectly all right, because there is not like SAP or Oracle or other solutions. We know, okay, certain outputs will be there, but this there is no such cases. We might be doing the first time, so that ROI was another issue. And the another biggest challenge we can see is that the talent, availability of the talent who knows the industry, who knows the best practices in industry to migrate the practice into, incorporate it into AI. So these are the main challenges which we faced while selecting, or we are in the process of implementing something. So while selecting and initiating this process, these are the major challenges which we face.
Thank you. Thank you. I think Kumar can easily address your one of the concern, because he's coming from the industry side and AI side, because when they're using. So Kumar, would you like to just share your views on top of it?
Yeah, interestingly, I had been on both the sides actually. I had spent more of my career on the customer side, and then after understanding the problems of the customer, I moved on the other side. So basically, I'm not a vendor. I'm more of a customer custodian actually. So
Very
basically,
nice.
with all my fellow CIOs. So these are my friends from, I should say, friends till eternity kind of friends. So yeah. Anyway,
Very nice.
to cut the long story short, my great friend Ali, Jacob, and Shailesh, they mentioned about some very, very critical points. Someone spoke about data privacy and GDPR. Someone spoke about the ROI and the value, and then the talent, the strategy, ROI. All of these pointers are important. So I'll like to address your question in two parts actually. One from my customer experience, what I had the challenges, and then from what as a solution, provider, what we really face on a daily basis. So from a customer side, so definitely the first thing is the business sponsorship. The way you mentioned, it's very, very important to have the business executive sponsorship on the project. If you don't have it, no project on data. If you get time, you just in 2013 when I was the CIO of Al Safi Group, I launched something known as fuzzy analytics. With that time it used to be CNME, Computer News Middle East. So if you just Google it out, fuzzy analytics. So it was basically the big data. So that time the big data revolution was there in 2013. Yeah. So this was the first point. So executive management sponsorship is very important for such kind of process. Very usually. And then if that is not there, then the different business verticals are not aligned. And if they are not aligned, then you will have different types of silos, completely heterogeneous architecture. And because of that heterogeneous architecture, data homogenization or application harmonization is going to be very, very difficult. Forget about AI. So AI comes much later. So this is one thing which is very critical. Second is multi-party or third-party applications you have. So once you have multiple applications from multiple sources, the way I mentioned about the enterprise architecture organization transformation, EAOT, or the complete enterprise architecture transformation, that which is the key framework for actually having the right set of data from in your data lake, and then building the AI algorithms on top of it. So that transformation itself is a huge challenge. Why? Because you have multiple applications which have not that easy kind of the plugin capability. So that's second thing which needs to be addressed, which is on regarding the data harmonization. Third thing is definitely Shailesh mentioned very important point, the different level of data governance. how are you defining your data governance? Because the governance is a very critical factor that needs to be addressed as part of the executive management sponsorship. So that if you have to define the data governance, how you're basically doing the data ontology, the data taxonomy, and how you define your data types. So usually this practice itself takes a lot of time in the organizations, and from the vendor side, when they are involved, because they don't understand the organization very, very well. So there are a lot of coordination issues, practical challenges issues, and unfortunately data gets lost in the whole process. Yeah. So the MDM, which is the master data management or master data governance, is very, very critical, and this should become the responsibility of every business leader in the organization. Point number 4, very critical point. Today we all are talking about ESG and sustainability, right? So basically, if you know the principles of TOGAF, so there's one thing: data as an asset, right? So I call it data as an asset class. So it's very important. So data as an asset class. Why? Because uh, it's a new currency now. It's everything of the organization. So based on your data, you have your operational data converting to your financial data into matrix, and then you have something. And that project, if you look at that project, has a value which has a real value, and that value is actually creating the valuation of the whole organization. So at the end of the day, you're working with your company itself is a financial vehicle, right? So this means your data is so valuable and it's a valued asset. So how you are actually protecting your data through the right management of enterprise architecture, executive management, sponsorship, and your data governance, this all of three, they talk about the whole ESG and SDG parameters, which are actually very, very important as per the UN United Nations SDG goals. I think I have covered most of the pointers here. So, and I think
Thank you, Kumar. Thank you so much.
these are the hardest points which I face every nanosecond, not even every second. Why? Because these are the key challenges. Yes, so people issues, all these issues. I think these issues are with everyone, but these are the real hardest challenges when you really implement a digital strategy with AI, at the forefront. So yeah.
Thank you, Kumar. I think you have given a pretty good view from the customer as well as the vendor side, and you covered the previous question as well. And you mentioned about the third-party applications. So those are now people are working on API integrations where you get a quality data by default from the system itself, but those are structured data. So I think
Yes.
now I will just move to Informatica because they are the masters in the data management and from ages,
Yeah.
specifically on master data management. I also did some studies around the Medellin architecture where the data quality keep doing and all this work. So I would like to ask the next question with Levent. How does smart data management help companies to reach their sustainable goal using AI? Because nowadays, any of the organization, they are going for the green loans also for the big project. Let's example, Ali maybe working on the new project, they're coming up with the sustainability city, and they have a different kind of operations and showcase this much of sustainability goal we are achieving for the country level also. So it cascade to the individual company, and bank is also supporting those areas. So Levent, I think you can address this point pretty well since you have been doing data management from ages and working very much with the ERP solutions and on the master data management. So Informatica, Levent, if you can share some inputs on top of it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sandeep. I've really enjoyed everyone's perspective on all these different challenges. Similar to Kumar, I've moved from the customer side after 22 years into the vendor side to be able to develop more forward-looking solutions. But yeah, so it's such a multifaceted challenge, and I think Ali touched on this with all the different regulations, and depending on the size and scale of your organization, most likely being a multinational, you're going to have to understand just like the different AI regulations, the different ESG regulations, and if we boil that down to what I can summarize in 3 minutes, the most important are your supply chain related issues, and what we call scope 3 emissions, which is your emissions in your supply chain. makes up more than 80% of the carbon footprint. So what makes that truly unique and hard is that that data lives outside of your organization. So not only do you have to have your master data management that Kumar touched on, or master data governance, that treats this in a multi-domain fashion, done really well, but you also need to essentially be aware of the latest data sets that are becoming available. And an example of this is we now have the ability to use geospatial remote sensing satellite data, which is actually showing that companies have been producing 3 times more than what they've been reporting in reality, which we can verify from space. So when you're able to break down the problem into domains like, okay, I'm going to look at my supplier, I'm going to look at the materials that I'm purchasing from that supplier, then I'm going to have automation in place where Ali touched on this, maybe we've got 20 different ERP systems. I'm going to understand the purchasing activity by automating it, bringing it into my single source of truth, and then start augmenting that data with all these different data sets that are available. One could be from a rating agency that's already aggregated all of this information. Then you could supplement that with satellite data to then understand, what is the baseline that you're starting with. And then you can bring AI into this picture to then identify the hotspots where you can create net zero pathways, if that's the E of ESG, or if you've got any social issues like child labor, forced labor, you can have AI identify suppliers that are charging the same amount for the same product or raw material, but you can actually purchase it from a company that's got, flying colors in terms of their history with labor practices. So essentially, at the heart of all of this, it's data governance, it's master data management, and really, when we look at the biggest challenge, I think that's stopping AI being deployed into production. You guys have touched on this as well. It's a lot of AI is being done in point solutions, in silos, and when you look to deploy that into production, that's when things kind of fall down, because you haven't started this journey as a cross-functional collaboration, which requires your legal function to be involved, where they can understand the different legal jurisdiction-based regulations. They need to have your risk function involved. Have you got all your appropriate controls in place? And the biggest really challenge for boards today is resilience. So just because you should automate something with AI doesn't mean that you should do that. For example, if shit hits the fan and let's say you're a bank and your ATM network goes down, you've created a huge impact to the way society operates. So therefore, resilience is also a huge consideration, as well as insurability, because with climate change, floods, I was on holiday in Ibiza and I found out that it was flooded, just last week. So understanding how climate risk impacts your operations, how AI risks could expose different cybersecurity risks that you haven't thought about. We're living in a very challenging but very exciting period right now.
Yeah, thank you, Levent. I think my counter question first for the Ali, then we can summarize. So, Asim, if you just refer to what Levent just mentioned about the cross-functional, there are a lot of AIs in the silos. So, being a big organization, you must be facing and going through this tough situation where data and AI in the cross-functional environment, and to maintain the sustainability goal. So how is it difficult for you to maintain the cross-business, cross-functional, making sure the data is used for sustainability goal? Because just now, Levent clearly mentioned it's very difficult People are putting strategy in silos, not in across the complete cross-functional, where CFO is not aware of the full sustainability and the green loan also in the banking. They are reporting only on the Excel sheet, but actually from the satellite, that's not the reality. So sometimes there's a reality check also, right? So what's your opinion on it?
Sure. See, to be straightforward, I would like to inform that all the answers has been given from the panelists already. And in our organization, if you see Jabr Holding Group, or like a diversified multiple business sectors, we are having like a large enterprise. When you talk about sustainability in a large enterprise, it's not just about compliance anymore. We need to think about efficiency, innovation, and long-term business resilience. So in this case, data and AI are at the center of that journey. I can give you some examples where we have implemented these type of various AI initiatives in our manufacturing plant. We are having like a plastic industries. It's a manufacturing plant where we are historically relying on our monthly utility reports to understand our energy usage. So as per Saudi regulations, by the time the data came in, there were a lot of inefficiencies. There were like a lot of discrepancies we had, which had already cost us more on fines and cost us more money and carbon emissions. So what we did, we implemented IoT sensors, which is directly connected with AI-driven analytics platform. So that what we did, we could able to really monitor real-time energy consumptions. We created a separate AI-based Operation Greener platform so that we could see the consumptions of each and every machines. So there was a AI flagged pattern. So where all the cooling systems were running, whichever is running unnecessarily during non-production hours. Since we are from beverage industries and we wanted to use what is the best utilization of AI. This is one project what we did. Due to this, we reduced energy consumptions and alhamdulillah, and it was like a very good project, and we got an award from Saudi government for this project. And the second project what we did is integrated vehicle management system. Integrated vehicle management system is a pure system where we are having approximately like 8,600 trucks across our business groups. So our logistics network is very massive. And if you see historically, our trucks are having half empty. We could not able to analyze whatever we don't have control over those things. So what we did, we utilized the same technology, AI-based route optimizations, and using digital twin simulations, we could able to go for our supply chain. We minimized empty runs and optimized our loading patterns across all our base, across all our geographic locations in the GCC. So what was my role? My role was to enable the right digital platform. Right digital platform is very much, please see, in the past, we were considered as a service department. If you're asking, IT should work as a business function, we should be like hand in hand, so that we could ensure that all our cross system data integrations can be done, and we could able to go ahead with partnering with various functions. And at the same time, when we just did this project successfully, our management was quite surprised. We were having like a good return on investments on these things. So this is what I just wanted to inform, like what are the various projects we did it for related to this things.
Thank you, Asim. I think everyone covered pretty well, but actually you executed. So you have some gravity to your communication. What you just shared, so you shared about AI IoT, where you're using sensors, where the data platform is just capturing the information, real-time streaming the data, but at the same time using AI in order to use a digital platform for sustainability and showcase a business value to your organization, and showcasing as a revenue model rather than looking at a cost center for the company. Because in old days, IT for the finance and for the management look like a cost center only. They're looking at the shared services. But now technology is one of the pillars for the running the business.
This is the regular
our job
thing.
Yeah, I just want to add one more point. I'm sorry for that. See, our job is not just to run IT systems. We should
Correct.
be as the orchestrator of sustainability throughout the technology, like integration of data, enable AI-driven insights, And what
Correct.
are all the various IT footprints? We can go ahead with the green data centers and other things, as Mr. Ali has already mentioned, and foster a culture of collaboration with various functions. So, technology becomes an enabler of sustainable choices and at the same time as a reporting tool.
Very nice. By the way, in sustainability, the two biggest contributor on carbon emission is construction and transportation. So construction, because cement manufacturing, as per the studies, this is the number one. Thank you, Ali. You're
I
addressing to it.
can I
You
can
can relate
speak
to
till
it, right?
tomorrow. Yeah, I
Yes,
mean,
yes, correct.
digital twin and CAD and BIM business information modeling is there. Actually, Ethereum virtual machines is maybe you guys. It depends on your industry, but is really very common now. There is a lot of companies have done a lot of things in terms of that, even NFT level. I also would like to emphasize about one of the point Levent has mentioned about the supply chain and ESG. I mean,
80%, yes. 80% is mentioned, which is the
blockchain.
biggest number.
In UAE, there is multiple companies that have done amazing initiatives about using blockchain technology to trace, for ESG purpose as well, to trace all the supply chain circle in terms of from the source of the material all the way until the material reached to make sure that all the people and all the subcontractors and suppliers involved are really following the ESG guidelines. And ESG now not anymore is an optional. Now all corporate public listed companies have to report the ESG to the regulators and to the stock exchanges. So it's not something up to the organization whether it's a luxury whether I'm gonna really put these KPIs in place or not. So it's yeah, we are a very heavy in construction. We are very heavy. We are dealing with a lot of heavy equipment. There is a lot of resources, and we have also factories, which is manufacturing. Again, the wastage management is another factors need to have KPIs in place and really need to be. It's a whole platform that should really put all these bits and pieces together to really see the big picture in terms of ESG.
Yeah. Thank you, Ali. Thank you. So I think everyone covers pretty well on sustainability, data governance, data management, and AI side. But now these questions for everyone, by the way, this is kind of sharing your thoughts. So if you see right now, AI actually going on the very fast innovations. So one week there is a one innovation, next week there's another innovation. So the velocity of the innovation in AI is going tremendously on the very upscale, and it's very hard to cope up with it. This morning there is a one gentleman, he reached out to me, Sandeep, can you give me a little brief about I'm going to the customer and I'm discussing something. I'm not able to catch up because I have my ongoing operation jobs also. So I just gave him a high level idea because he knows that I'm also the moderator to this session. So I gave it to him, I know. But when I'm going on researching, I'm also leaving behind because I'm getting a lot of MIT research. 95% of AI startups projects, they are failing, right? So this is the studies from MIT. So just to make it right approach for the Middle East specifically, what do you think, what investment should be done in a right manner for data and AI, make a business case successful rather than going for 95% failure? What are the lesson learned? What are the approach or strategy people should take in the consideration in order to make it successful for the business? Because those are startups, right? So the companies like Asim's company or Jacob's working with the government organizations. So they have different challenges because in the public sector, the challenges are different. There are a lot of constraints. Construction, maybe you have different approach. Asim would have the competitive edge. So these are going with the different business problems. But to address those problems, what do you think would be the right investment in which area important things for data and AI? For everyone, it's open floor, by the way. So just raise a hand and then so that, yeah, Jacob, you want to start something? Yeah, Levent after
Yeah.
Jacob, I would say, okay?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think it's very interesting. And I was just reading the latest Gartner report, which states that 80% of AI pilots don't come to fruition. It means people do a pilot, but it never goes into production. And I believe the reason behind it is because of what I talked about when we started a session, which is about the business. We need to be trying to solve a problem. So AI is not about technology, it's about differentiation, it's about how we're going to leverage and use AI as a strategic asset differentiator. So what happens is when companies implement or pilot AI without looking at the total cost, without the ROI, without looking at the true business benefit, but everybody else is doing around me, I need to do, let's do AI. And that just doesn't work. So for 26, I think we need to again look at what is the business case. How is AI going to help us? What are the competitors doing? How can we separate ourselves from the competition? This is what should be the focus. And what I would divide this is into two areas. One is people and one is technology. In people, I think we already covered. We need to have staff training, ethics, culture, because adopting AI is a big change. Now, what will happen is when people will adopt, or might be passively resisting the change, if they believe their job is online, if they're not involved in the decision making, if there's no staff training, staff communications, and how they'll fit with AI in the future. So these are some things we need to look at, I believe. Then it's also about ethics. AI ethics is very important, because of data, the ethics is extremely important. Then technology, I would say, is a second fiddle, because if you don't have a business case, you don't have people, then technology doesn't really matter. But from a technology, there are some key pillars. One is obviously the cloud adoption. We have cybersecurity controls. We need to look at, data. Again, all that we are the esteemed panelists have already discussed about having data managed and governed well. These are some of the things that I think we need to look at in 26. So if companies need to differentiate themselves, they need to really focus on AI and focus on AI to deliver business value. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob. Levent, your views.
I agree with Jacob, but I just wanted to include 2 or 3 things where we faced a lot of challenges. One is related to data challenges. When we are just seeing lack of high quality domain specific data, we could not able to identify it. So we were facing a lot of challenges in this. We are very much thankful for PDPL, so which supported us very much on this data challenges. Apart from that, if you wanted to see how we could able to avoid that failures and other things, nowadays if you see, AI become as a buzzword. Wherever you go, AI. So we need to start with the customer problem, not with the model. So we need to focus on which verticals we need to start. We just started only with manufacturing plant, then we just went to logistics. So we need to see how we can able to start each and every issue. What is the real pain point? So it will be good for us to go ahead with AI failure. We can avoid these failures on AI.
Thank you. Levent, you have some views.
Yeah, so I was just going to expand on some of the points that Jacob kind of teed up, and yeah, great points raised by Asim on the data domain specific, data sets. But I think when we look at some of the predictions, and I read one by Gartner just 2 weeks ago, and they predicted that 40% of the agentic AI projects will be cancelled by 2027. 40% is a very big number. And I think we need to slow down and really understand what it is we're trying to achieve. And to Jacob's point, to Ali's point, about business value, I mean, all this transformation, which is essentially change, needs to be linked to a business value of some type. And You need to really identify the use case really well. And I think, we need to take a risk-based approach when we do that. And that is because 80% of the AI pilots don't make it into production. And that's because they're done in silos. And when all the cross functions get involved, they're like, how about this control? How about that control? And, that's where things fail. And therefore, I think when we look at this in terms of change management, we need to look at the people, process, technology, and technology can be broken down into applications and data. And really, data sits at the heart of everything. And really, data is now the fuel for AI, right? And then in terms of selecting the use case, making sure that it's low risk. Is it high in volume and low value to the human operator? And will it bring high ROI once automated? And then I think that level of thinking is what's missing today. And then you could definitely, once you've gone through that, you can go and build whatever solution you need. That's not the issue, I believe. And then what I truly advocate is, setting up some kind of a safe AI deployment committee in organizations, which is a cross-functional team of, the legal function, the risk function, and really understanding the cybersecurity risks as well. Like, for instance, Anthropic Claude just about a month ago talked about how Claude is being used for malicious attacks. And when we look at historically, we had APT, advanced persistent threats, which were usually done by governments because they had the resources to be able to deploy hundreds of people. But today, people can access AI and have the same level of power. And because really AI is advancing at such a pace, driven by billionaires, the safety aspect isn't really thought through well enough. And, when we think about really, sustainability, how can we go 20, 30 years into the future? Understanding these risks really well is going to be really important. So I think we all need to slow down a little bit and really understand how to do it properly. Otherwise, I think a lot of organizations might trip themselves up very quickly in this AI race.
Levent, we are not really thinking 20 years anymore. We are thinking 2 or 3 years. I think 5 years is really scary. I mean, if you put the other pieces of technology that's coming, quantum computing nowadays is $10,000 and commercialized to personal level. It's not the future anymore. Blockchain is there. I'm really amazed with this very beautiful panel. I don't know if Sanjay, from where you get this very rich knowledge from all over. I just want to highlight one dimension. You covered everything. Just the cybersecurity part, I thought I'm going to be the first one to highlight it. And Levent, you already did that before me. But I look at it from 3 dimensions because of the AI nowadays. Because now the bad actors are using the AI, so we have to protect against AI, and we have to protect using AI because a lot of SOC, Security Operating Center, and a lot of security tools is using AI. So this is the second dimension. And the third dimension is to protect your AI. Now, we already have an AI that might be vulnerable towards the cyber threats. So there is 3 dimensions due to the AI in the cybersecurity. So it's not the traditional tools. And like yesterday, I was like checking, I have 22 billion the telemetry of my organization. It was all reviewed by AI, and only the alerts was, again, there is hallucination, of course, there is false positive, of course, we are still in early stages, but such a huge telemetry cannot be reviewed by a human being. In the previous a culture where we have somebody who sit and go through all these amount of potential alerts or telementaries. Now we are able to really review way more levels, but because also the amount of data we are getting is also tremendous. Now all our equipment has Internet of Things, and there is sensors everywhere sending a huge amount of data. So it's like you cannot take only one part of the puzzles. All these things are coming together along with edge computings and cloud and hybrid things. So I think the future look really scary. I will say from positive perspective, but there's so many things coming simultaneously. I believe equal to AI, where everybody's talking about AI, but blockchain technology is under really look. There is a lot of things going on in that domain in a serious manner, away from the speculation of crypto and this kind of things. I'm talking about real cases where blockchain architecture or distributed ledger is put into a real benefit cases where business really can sponsor and can say, you know what, this is something add value to me. Yeah.
Thank you, Ali. Since we are running short of time, we have to start the open questions from the audience. Then I think you can share your views based on those questions. So Sanjay, if you would like to share open questions from the audience, and if you've summarized it really well. So sorry, Kumar and Shailesh, I'll take your questions, but in the Q&A session, we are running short of time, but I will definitely conclude with you.
Yeah, I
And
think
most of the things are answered by them already.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes, yes.
most of the pointers are already
Okay.
up. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for the understanding. Sanjay, would you like to share?
ladies and gentlemen, if you have any question or query, please post your questions in the Q&A window. We'll wait for 2 to 3 minutes. Then I'll request Sandeep to conclude the session. Of course, we have time, 5 minutes.
While we're waiting, I just want to add something to what Ali said. So Ali, what I'm finding really interesting right now is companies like AXA are coming up with new insurance products for Gen AI or data poisoning. And so it's going to be a really interesting period that we enter, because some of these AI related threats haven't eventuated, but when they do, it's going to expose a lot of threats we hadn't really thought about. And therefore, insurance has now become such an important thing at a board level.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely. One more last point, which before we conclude, which I want to add here is, especially in the heavy industries, so we spoke about a lot of industries, especially the heavy industries. The challenge of the OT-IT convergence and OT-IT transformation had been very, very paramount, especially when you have a core manufacturing kind of setup or something related to oil and gas, and which is actually we call it critical infrastructure. So the way Ali mentioned, the future looks very scary, definitely from the positive side. There's a lot to do. Why? Because the mandate for sustainability and carbon emission and such kind of parameters and are very, very important and indispensable for the economic growth. So it's very important that all the partner, the whole ecosystem needs to step up on such kind of real industrial transformation, taking industries to the next level. And industrial level AI, those kind of innovations are paramount for bringing the next era of true industrial transformation. So that's my closing sense, especially on the economic infrastructure. Yeah. So
thank you, Kumar. Shailesh, would you like to add something before I conclude everything?
The main thing which I was supposed to tell is that which I faced is that before going for any AI implementation or any AI project, first you analyze is your house is in order or not. You should not jump into anything special as everybody else is doing it. You also should go for it. So my sincere suggestion to all the technical leaders is that they analyze first, make your houses in order, and then jump to this type of new technologies for the better
Agree.
successful.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
we got one question. I think it's very much familiar question. Whether AI will take job is a myth or is a reality.
Should I
And
take
that
this
applies
question?
to all of us, by the way. So it's a good question. And the first question, because when I have given my first responsible AI session in MIT Spotlight, this was the first question I received. So I would like everyone to share their own views on top of it. Then I will try to conclude.
Okay, so I'll take up in one line that so advent of technology had always basically taken away I should say the stereotype stuff and brought a new generation. The same thing was about internet, same thing was about cloud, same thing was about everything. So what I believe is, yes, the stereotypes are going to get depleted down the line and repetitive tasks. But yes, more and more engineers will be required in basically maintaining the new revolution. So I see that. So when there is a new technology coming up, or when there's a new revolution coming up, you always have a new side which is an upcoming and which is more and more interesting for the new generation. So that's what I believe. Yeah.
Sandeep,
Okay.
we have Manish Agarwal who has raised hand. So I've
Yep.
just allowed him to speak. Manish, go ahead, please ask your question if you have.
Hi, good evening, all. My
Good
question
evening, Manish.
to all whoever can answer this, whenever we are doing project, particularly based on AI, and we are using commercially available models, how do you safeguard that once the model logic changes by the vendor, your application shouldn't get affected? Maybe you are making a call to OpenAI or cloud or any other commercially available tools, and they keep on upgrading themselves, and we have seen how OpenAI from 4.1 to 5 has changed drastically, and you have built logic based on the current understanding of the AI, and those logic changes. So how do you safeguard the entire application from it?
Who want to answer?
I'll just throw it out there. I mean, you've got to have data governance, got to know your metadata really well. But then ultimately you're relying on a third party, and that's always going to be a risk.
Yeah, because being a smaller organization, you cannot train, you cannot create your own models. You do not have enough compute power, and you need to start somewhere. So how to tackle this kind of problems?
That's the $1 million question, because it's the risk you have to take and you have to pay when you cannot afford to have your own AI and you train it on your own data. Contractually, you can have your own, agreement or SLA with the service providers, but it's not just in AI, by the way. This is in all type of technology. And simple changes in terms and conditions or in privacy agreement that can be just updated in any platform, including any of the big ones, and you just agree on it, and it might have expose your organization to a compliance issues or data privacy issues. So this is in logic. This is always there, not only with AI. Whenever you are depending or building your solution part of any third party, and you are part of an ecosystem of another providers, you always have this inherent risk.
Correct,
I would
Khalil,
like
but
to. I
that's
would like to.
mostly on the SaaS
Mhm.
or the hypers platform. But here, you are not deciding on the logic. It's like a black box, and you are just using it. So it really 1 year down the line, the entire logic might change. and your application will go out of top. Any practical tips which you guys are using?
I'll give it to
currently?
you. Manish, I'll give it to you because I've done it myself. Being a technical guy, let me tell you. First of all, you have to identify the business problem. Prepare a business case. When you prepare a business case, then you set up the architecture. The architecture has to be decoupled architecture. You have third-party applications, but your architecture is not fully dependent on third party, right? And when this third party doing any upgradation, they are giving a different APIs and you're consuming the old APIs. They are not actually upgrading the last API. So you have multiple versions of it. So when you're using in your application, use that version, and that new version will come as 4.0.1, something like that. So there is always a kind of kernel level version controlling. Use that in decoupled. When you're using this one, your model will be the same. This is one of the scenario. Second scenario, if you're working like Jacob kind of organization where the public sectors are there, people are using on-premise, even on my laptop on silicon chip of MacBook, I'm using low-code platform of AI, using Olama, I can use Falcon 3B, I can use these models, which are, I have a full control. These are proprietary, open source, but the control for the version upgrades belongs to me. So if you're running the business case where data residency is required, PI data has to be in country, making a use case within the country, maybe you're dealing with the EMR data, electronic medical record data, then you prefer to use on-prem solution. First use on your machine, validate the business case, validate the technology, because you may be expecting some output based on the large language model. If you're getting a desired output, continue with it on-prem. Or you can use OpenAI, which is via Studio, also like Azure, they're also giving. There is some controls are available, and you can use that SKUs, select it, and there's the security keys. Those securities give you access to that particular version. More deep dive discussion, maybe we can have offline discussion if you need more detail technically, but this is in a nutshell, business case clarifications, architecture has to be in place, then you're using the right large language model will be deployed on-prem or the cloud. When you're using on-prem and the cloud, then they depend on the business case. Everything has to drive based on the business case. I hope I addressed your question.
We are doing that. We have 7 billion parameter model, 13 billion parameter model. We use OpenAI also, but this thing get deprecated. But in interest of time of everybody, I will end this topic here because it's a very lengthy topic, and we are doing the things which you have said, of course, but the functions gets deprecated very soon.
No worries. We can discuss offline in detail. If you have the LinkedIn, we are already available. You can send us a message and we will try to help you as much as possible.
We'll catch up. We'll catch up.
Thank you, Manish. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thanks.
Sanjay, any more questions?
No, I don't think we have. Now.
Okay. So based on the inputs, I'm trying to summarize. Okay. So we have started the session with the data and success of AI, but in short, we goes all around the data as well as the AI and the sustainability areas. And thanks for all the panelists sharing their real-time scenarios. It's not like coming from generative AI and we are responding with. They are sharing the real case scenarios. They are also giving information like Shailesh clearly mentioned about we have to calm down, listen to everywhere, work on our business case, analyze it, whether we should go for it or not, and then take our move towards the AI. We should not jump into that there's something sale is going in the market and we have to buy. Why we are buying, what is the use case of that the product, that we don't know. So we have to focus on that. Then Ali clearly mentioned about we can use the blockchain, we can use the third-party integrations, plus for the sustainability 80%. So this is how we can cover up and we have a real-time information. Then Kumar also mentioned about very much on the data governance, and he has mentioned about his opinion on sustainability. At the same time, he also given an opinion on customer perspective as well as the vendor perspective. Thank you so much, Kumar, for your inputs. And Levent, you have given a very good idea about the data governance, and especially on the sustainability side, you are the one who has given 80%. I was not aware of it, so I will take as a note. And Jacob, thank you so much for your security areas where you covered up data governance, you covered about quality, accessibility. I added on the street point and business case, silos, data silos and all, especially the compliance, the local compliance and the global compliances. When it comes to the local compliances, you know it very well. Data privacy, data security. I signed myself along with one of the biggest project I've closed. In the legal, there is a penalties, huge penalties for these data breach. And there is a proper clause. If you're breaching that clause, it's a nightmare for the company who's working for the customer and for the customer as well at the same time. So I think I'm trying to cover pretty well. Now, Asim also mentioned very important point, the real-time scenario. He is actually using it on the two different areas, sustainability side, which is on the truck side, and he's using on the sensor on the machine side also. So he's covering up emission from there and the transportation from route optimization, and he's using AI, IoT, and they have a platform. I think I've covered pretty well few points since we are interest of the time. I'm just trying to conclude as much as possible, concise way, like a chat GPT, a summary of overall 1 hour session. I hope I'm not missing anything. Please share your views, other we can conclude. Sanjay, over to you.
Very interesting discussion. We need at least another couple of hours to justify this topic. And Sandeep, I must compliment you. You have turned to a pro now, handling this many brains,
Yes.
brightest minds, and with our experience is very difficult, but you did it very nicely. So hats up to you. Let's do more and more sessions on AI and opportunity of AI and challenges of AI. Now we are exploring the opportunities. Now there are a lot to happen on the way to its maturity. So thank you all speakers, moderator, for your time spent with us, making the discussion very interesting and intriguing. The discussion starts now. It won't end soon, I believe. We need many discussions like this, and there are various angles to it, various opportunities, various use cases. So we need to throw light on this. So one session cannot do justice. We need to have all more sessions in time to come. So thank you, Sandeep, for your time. Mr. Jacob, thank you very much for taking time on and spending 1 hour and giving your wisdom to the entire audience and in your peer group. Ali, thank you. You joined late, but you covered up very nicely. Kumar, as always, today I saw that Kumar was in control manner. I don't know why. So thank you, Kumar. Shailesh, thank you for your time to be here with us and sharing your views and some use cases as well. Asim, fantastic internal use case that you throwed open to the peer group and the audience. Levent, finally, the vendors perspective, you are seeing so many industries and use cases also. It's very nice to have you with us. Thank you, and have a nice weekend. Let's catch up during JITEX. Don't forget to come to our event. Of course, we have our booth there in JITEX, hall number 1, I believe, but I'll update you. By the way, on 14th, we have our awards. Every year we do. You all are welcome. I'll send a different special mail to you, welcoming all of you to the event. So let's catch up. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Sanjay.
very
Thank you
much.
so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Catch
Thank
up
you.
in-
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. We'll catch up in
Thank you.
JITEX. Sure.
Thank you. Definitely. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Asim.